Good morning, our dear viewers. You're welcome. This is the Women's Voice, a platform by the Women Rights Initiative, and we are delighted yet again to have an opportunity to share knowledge and learn with you. Please invite everyone to watch and also share this platform. We are on our Facebook page and on YouTube. You can keep sharing, and for those that are unable to watch it live, they can always follow. Today we are going to be learning and sharing on a very important topic, and I have a guest with me. I'll invite her to introduce herself before we begin. Please, Rose, introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, our viewers and everyone that is following us around the world. My name is Chigere Rose, and I work for and on behalf of the women of Uganda. And currently, I'm the executive director of the Women Rights Initiative. I'm humbled and excited to be here this morning. And thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, and thank you for accepting to share knowledge and also committing time. Today we will be sharing on early marriages and the economic impact to Uganda's economy. And for those that are new, we've been sharing about issues, but specifically, uh, the Women Rights Initiative empowers women and the young people through initiatives, but we focus on ending gender-based violence. And of course, most of the issues that we share are related to GBV, uh, prevention and response, but also looking at what everyone has to contribute and what role each stakeholder plays to ending gender-based violence. And of course, Rose, we are delighted, and we I want to encourage our viewers to always keep giving us your opinions, bring in comments and questions, and so that we can know that you're learning with us, and also that we can understand which other topics or issues you want to learn about, and be able to prepare and organize these topics for you. And today, as I said, we'll be looking at early marriages and what impact it has to our economy, and also how it affects the young people, because mostly it's always girls that are forced into early marriage, though at times uh, young boys are also found entrapped because of a lot of reasons. Today we have a guest, but because of network issues, she's off. But I'm praying that she gets back so that we can share. Yes, I think Rose is now on. Rose, please, uh, to begin with, we want to understand what when we talk
Back.
about early marriage.
Yes.
Yes, we want to understand when we speak about early marriages or early marriage, what does it really mean?
Mm. Thank you, Annette. I Thank you, Annette. Basically, for our viewer to understand this in a simpler way, early marriage, by definition, is a marriage that happens for young people below the age of consent. Generally, the accepted age of consent around the world is 18. So once
I think that the network. today is not our best ally, but as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be speaking about early marriages, and Nicholas was trying to define what it really means for someone that is watching to really get to know before we digest what the causes are and how it affects the community and also the girls and also the boys, and how we can together fight to end and also to prevent early marriages. Yes, Rose, you were defining early marriage. Yes, Rose, can you hear me? Well, I think that today we are so unlucky. Our guest can't really get hold of her network. It's on and off, but we'll continue uh, sharing on early marriages and, of course, the issues that affect girls or that affect women automatically affect the society because their mothers they're supposed to nurture and also have live healthy lives to be able to contribute to development. So we thought that it is important to share about the issue of early marriage because in the region where we specifically focus our work, and that is the eastern region, the rates of early marriages are high, and also, of course, it's a lot of issues that contribute to this, and we wanted today to share. Of course, some of the issues are not new, but when we come to learn, we remind ourselves of what we are missing out, and also we relearn and we continue learning because, of course, things change. With the COVID pandemic, we've had a lot of things change, a lot of issues have come in.
Hmm. Thank you for that question. That's a very interesting question because a lot of people, not only in Uganda, have decided and take it upon themselves to marry young children, and they have all these sorts of reasons. But there are also these reasons that we want to talk to so that our viewers take into consideration and deeply think about them and understand how to overcome them. But one of the first reasons that is very evident is the gender inequality that happens within society between men and women, girls and boys. Uh, Girls and boys are not on the same platform of opportunities that are presented to them. For example, very many girls in villages um, are not given the same opportunities to go to the same schools as boys, or they are not given the same materials even when they go to schools to be in the same space and compete favorably with the boys. So because of those and also the gender roles, the boys get up in the morning, ride their bicycles and rush to schools while the girls stay home to first help with the housework and the house chores, and then thereafter if those house chores are done, they get an opportunity to go to school. And of course, considering that the competition cannot be at the same level, the learning cannot be at the same level, and the presentation of opportunities that are available within a school setting and a community setting automatically dies out. So gender inequality has greatly affected uh, the process of girls enjoying their full rights, and as such, when of course the decisions are usually made, and once they are made, the parents in most cases decide to educate the boys because they always give a reason that the boys are going to have families, and then the girls are left out. And so if the girls are uneducated, chances are high that when they stay home and they're idle and they're not retained in school, it is easier for them to walk into early marriages or to find themselves in situations that force them into early marriages. That is one of the greatest reasons why we have early marriages still existing and escalating actually, especially even because now we had COVID and a lot of our children stayed home for quite a long period of time. But also, there's the poor parenting in when you look at how we parent these days as vis-a-vis how we used to parent in our parents used to do their parenting was communal, but now parenting has been reduced to nuclear families, and also parents have become extremely busy. They are running up and down to look for money to feed children, to pay school fees, and to do all these sorts of things that they think are very important for the children. And then they forego to have time with children, to talk to children, to openly share with children about changes in their bodies and growth. And this affects the way the children think. So if children are left to caretakers in the homes, to peers, whatever they start into their minds as knowledge and skills and wisdom is what the young people take. So because of the poor parenting, you can find that the child is not looked after very well, and they are not guided very well. And chances are high that if someone lies to them and they're a good liar, they can easily walk them into a marriage that they did not really anticipate to be in. But also, there's a lot of ignorance. Some communities are still very ignorant about the importance of girls growing up, girls being ready, and girls participating into education and gaining knowledge and skills so that they can better their lives as adults. And so they just marry off girls because they have reduced girls into what would I say? They reduce girls into just a person that is supposed to have children and keep a home. They don't look at a woman in all aspects. How best they can be a mother, how best they can be a wife, how best they can be someone who works and earns an income, how best they can contribute to their economy. So if people do not look at women substantially, deeper than just a wife and a mother, then chances are high that they're going to marry off this young girl because that is what they have reduced this girl to. So that is also a very great issue. So the societal norms and culture that are negative have also contributed greatly to the causes of early marriages, especially here in Uganda. But also there is this issue of peer pressure. A lot of young people, because we as the adults, as the parents, are not really giving them time, they go and find their peers, people that are within their age bracket, people that they think have information and can be able to tell them something that allows to fill their knowledge gap. And so, because these people one might have a boyfriend, and then they say, but why don't you have a boyfriend? Why don't you have a girlfriend? It is even local, it is even absurd that you don't have one. So, because of those pressures that happen, the young people find themselves doing things that are not regular of their age, and so chances are high that once they mess up, parents are too angry to listen to what happened and to understand the causes of what brought in the, the marriage, and they just push them directly to these marriages. And lastly, Annette, the bias about girls' education. You've really had this issue that is looming around these days that is saying that a lot of resources are being taken to the girl child. Everyone is campaigning for the girl child. Everyone is focusing on the girl child. So the bias that happens if it is not handled very well, chances are high that a lot of girls will slip out of schools. A lot of girls will not be given opportunities as they are supposed to be. But people need to understand that what brought about this campaign. We need to ask ourselves, how did the girl child go into a process of campaign, a process of advocacy, a process of countries putting emphasis of girls getting into school? It was because in the previous planning and engagements, girls had not been given a priority because of the culture, but also because of the of families. Some families are too poor to support girls stay in school, to support girls with basic needs like like soap, like even reusable pads, like scholastic things in schools, buying the girls' books, uniforms, just the basic things that a girl needs to be able to be a normal child. If a family is that poor and a person walks in and talks to this girl, the girl will look at this young man or young woman as an alternative, as opposed to what the family is providing. And eventually, they will slide into this early marriage. And it, I think that those are very important issues to look at. And lastly, but not the least, the enforcement of the law. We have found out that very many law enforcement officers, starting from the LC levels, do not really look at this issue of early pregnancies and early marriages as important. You find LCs sitting and beginning to discuss a life of a young person and making decisions, and families asking for ransom and money from the family of the man or the boy, and then they eventually carry the girl off, which is totally not acceptable, not in the laws of Uganda or anywhere in the world, because girls have to be girls, boys have to be boys, and adults have to be adults. We need to allow children be children and do the things that they're supposed to do for their ages. Thank you, Annette. I hope that that educates our viewers.
Thank you so much, Rose. And from what you're speaking, it's obvious that early marriages have effects, and maybe we can begin with understanding what impact this has on the economy of our country, because that is where everything begins before we look at other effects and probably why there is need to prevent and also end early marriage.
They are scared of what is happening because the community has already judged them. Communities have already given them away and saying, go into a marriage, you messed up, go face it, learn from your mistakes. And so even when they are abused, even when they are sexually harassed, where they go, they cannot come back to speak out because they know that they did a mistake. And in most African settings, especially in Uganda, in most cases, if the family where the girl is coming from does not really understand, chances are high that they become the judge and judge them forever. They don't think that young children can learn from the mistakes that they have done, and allowing them to understand the mistakes that they have done so that they are even given an opportunity to change. So that really also affects them. But also, when you look at this, it affects the education. Chances are very minimal that families are willing to take back this girl or this young boy back to school once they have had a child. They actually ask questions. So, who is going to take care of your child? Who is going to take care of the burden that you have brought to us, the grandchildren? And so, it limits their education opportunities, it limits their skilling opportunities, it limits their knowledge base, it kills their self esteem, their aspirations and dreams run dry there and then. And so, it doesn't do us any good as a country because these particular girls and these particular young boys that have been forced into these early marriages are still a part of our community and a larger part of our community, because when you look at 3 girls from every 10 girls that you know, it means that 3 of those girls have lost an opportunity to be in school and have lost an opportunity to meet their dreams that they dreamt of as young people. And that really affects the way the connotation of the whole cycle runs, because the cycle of poverty becomes real, their healthcare is in shambles, their ability to add to live a life that they have dreamt of goes down the drain, and you can't underestimate that. Yeah.
Thank you, Rose. I think that it's very important for parents or for the society to struggle and keep girls in school, because it's always like when girls drop out of school, they then sometimes they get pregnant or they become so idle, and parents think that the next step is for them to get married, because it's always like when a girl is just idle, sometimes if they are lucky, they are taken to work in homes as housemates, and then if you're not lucky, probably to get a job immediately when you're out of school, they have no other choice but getting you married off. So I think that is very, very important for everyone to know that it's, it I think it somehow when girls are in school, it somehow delays,
Mm. True.
yeah, it delays them from quickly getting into marriage, but also it prepares them to be ready, because marriage is something that is lifetime, and also not it's not a walk in a park. So I
Yeah.
think that it's very important. Rose,
Yes.
I'm trying. There's a lot that is running in my mind, but trying to digest all the causes that you've shared with us. What could be the solutions? Because of course, if something is affecting us as a community or as a society, and as most importantly as a country, we need to look very critical on working solutions
Mm.
for. But maybe we could be specific and speak about the roles of everyone, because I believe that the parents have a role,
Mm.
uh, that's the other stakeholders like institutions, schools, teachers, uh, NGOs, and other civil society organizations or other partners have equally their roles to play. So probably we'll begin by speaking or sharing about what role the
Mm.
parents or the family has, because that is where it all begins.
Yeah. Thank you
Because
so
you,
much, Annette.
because you
Thank
also
you.
mentioned that one of the causes is poor parenting.
True. Yeah, which is very unfortunate, because as parents, we have a cardinal role and responsibility to make sure that when we have children, we plan on having children, and once we have them, we take very good care of them to logical conclusion, or to when they are adults and are able to make decisions that are not rushed, and decisions that support them as young people. So starting with the parents have a role to play. The role that they have is to make sure that they speak to these young people and openly speak about the important things about their health, about the importance of education, about the importance of their future, and allowing children to forecast with them, to speak about their future. What would you want to be? Where would you want to be? How do you see yourself 5 years from now as a child? So that the children begin to think about themselves as important part of society, as important figures in these families that can be listened to. So parents have to do the talking, but have to do the listening more and observation. In very many families, we only want to speak as parents, and we don't give time to children to speak to us and to listen to them. And of course, whatever children tell us might not be exciting, might not be the best solution, and might never be the best options that are available. But when we listen, when we allow ourselves to listen, we give ourselves a chance to learn from our children. We give ourselves an opportunity to listen to what their thinking is, and also work within what they think is the best. Secondly, is acceptance. We need to accept our children. As parents, we need to understand that our children are all
Also, uh, sharing about the role of the stakeholders and how we can work together.
Thank you, Annette. All of us are responsible for making sure that girls thrive and that young boys thrive and don't go into early marriages, because some of the boys are being also forced into early marriages. Also, the percentage and statistics are not the same, but also we have to acknowledge that some boys have walked into these spaces when they were unprepared. So we have a role to play. First of all, we don't need to judge these young people. We need to give them an opportunity to make decisions that are not rushed as young people in the community. And us as communities, let's not pride in having people just get married off. Hmm? Let's not be the people that are pushing and making sure that we even attend these marriage ceremonies. Because many people go and attend these ceremonies, eat, drink, dance at the expense of the life of these young people. Be the person that is whistleblowing as a community members to say there's this young girl who has a family that is forcing them into an early marriage. You can be counted among the people that that speak a lot, or that are wiseacring, or that are snooping into business that doesn't belong to you. But eventually, it is business that belongs to you, because before you know it, they're going to have children, and your children will marry these children that are uneducated and unempowered, and you cannot stop it because you cannot be in your life and be in the life of your children and be in the life of their children and their children. Everyone has a role to play. So as community, be on the lookout, be the ambassador for change. Because even when you support just this one young girl, you might have saved nine of the siblings that they would have had in a situation that is not lifeful. And also, you as young people, young men, young women, older women, do not employ young people. Don't take in children below the age of 18 to work with, to use them as maids, to use them as shamba boys, to give them work. Please do not do it. Give them an opportunity to be in school. And if you can, as a parent, as a community member, and you have extra resources, it doesn't hurt to support a young person at your village to continue with school. In most cases, we are thinking that we have to get funding from abroad. We have to give given money by people that are rich, that are wealthy. But all of us can, because even if you can just support someone to go and learn a skill at an artisan shop, and you can pay 200,000 a year, this girl will eventually learn this skill, and they can use this skill to benefit their life. So we all have a role to play as stakeholders, but also as community. And as we conclude, there are solutions that we can all work on, that all of us can do. Uh, the first one is ensuring, just a moment, sorry. Um, the first solution is to ensure that we focus on girls staying in school, staying longer, as Angie said. It allows us to ensure that the girls will get more knowledgeable, will get more skills, will make decisions that are favorable to them, and as well make decisions to enter into these marriages when they really know the commitments that they are making. Secondly, rally behind the wider community to ensure that we stand for children's rights. Because these girls that we are talking about are children. So the rights of children have to be at all times observed. Much as they also have a responsibility to play as children, but we must observe their rights. Don't take them labor when they are of below age. Some of them are even being exported out in the name of they just extend their ages and then take them to the Arab countries for work. Please do not do that. Maybe if you're a company and you really need workers, make sure that you're taking adults, and also ensure that you provide girls and families with opportunities. We say that poverty is one of the issues that are making this escalate. So families have a role to play. They must find opportunities to work, to earn, and support their own children, so that their own children do not find themselves in a situation that is compromising to walk into early marriages and getting early pregnancies that they are not, they wouldn't have gotten if they had the resources within their home. But also, we need to petition government, because in these spaces where we have LCs and local council leaders and cultural leaders that are acting to marry off these children, they need to face the law and answer for their crimes, so that it is a lesson, so that these are lessons that can be able to go out there and people can learn from them and they can do the same. And lastly, educate, educate the girl child. It makes a lot of difference, because once they're educated, they will educate the young people that they will have, and that we will have generations and generations of educated societies. Thank you, Annette.
Thank you so much, Rose, and we are so humbled for your time and for such enlightening. And I think that next time If you're called upon to come and share on another topic, please always come through for us. We want to appreciate your viewers for committing time and also learning with us. Until next time, same time and same day. God bless you.
Bye bye.